Tom Cruise breaks his silence. The confession that changes everything after years of mystery. Rumors and wild speculation, Hollywood's most elusive star has finally broken his silence. At 62, Tom Cruise is an action icon whose cheated death on screen defied aging, kept fans guessing for decades, has confirmed what many have long suspected. He's always been more than just an actor. From death-defying stunts to his carefully guarded private life, Tom Cruise has remained an enigma, a force of nature with unshakable confidence and unmatched intensity. But now, with one deeply personal revelation, the man behind the legend is stepping out of the shadows. Why now? What secret has he kept hidden all these years? And what he's just admitted may shake fans more than any explosive blockbuster ever could. At 62, Tom Cruise still seems unstoppable. He's the daredevil who leaps from helicopters, rides motorcycles through fire, and performs stunts that leave younger actors in awe. On screen, he's the fearless hero. Off screen, he's always kept his guard up until now. For the first time in years, Cruise is opening up, not just about his career, but about the personal battles he's faced behind closed doors. The polished image he spent decades maintaining is beginning to crack, revealing something far more vulnerable. The man beneath the myth, yes. He's proud of his legacy, and rightfully so. He's headlined some of Hollywood's biggest films, pushed his body and mind to their limits, and set a new standard for what it means to be a leading man. His focus, discipline, drive are legendary. But behind all the success lies something deeper and far more painful. Cruise admits that no amount of fame or fortune could ever erase the emotional wounds he carries. The true pain, he says, comes not from box office failures or lost awards, but from broken relationships, faded connections, and moments of love lost to time. Most heartbreakingly, he speaks about his daughter, Sori. Once a symbol of hope and renewal in his life, their relationship has become distant, reduced more to memories than moments. It's the kind of wound no stunt or role can heal. His marriages to Mimi Rogers, Nicole Kidman, and Katie Holmes weren't just tabloid headlines. Each one left a mark. With Katie, he thought he had finally found something lasting, especially after Suri's birth. But when that relationship ended, it left a void far deeper than the public ever knew. Today, Cruise no longer hides behind stunts or scripts. He acknowledges the truth fans have long suspected. Behind the daring performances lives a man who yearns for connection. A man who has loved deeply, lost painfully, and sometimes chosen career over closeness. But he isn't looking for sympathy. At this stage in his life, honesty matters more than preserving an illusion. By sharing his truth, Tom Cruise stops being just a Hollywood icon and becomes something far more real. A man facing regret, loss, and the haunting question of whether it's too late to heal. Can he rebuild the bond with Suri? Or has the time and silence made it impossible? And Suri isn't the only source of pain. His 3 marriages each shaped him and scarred him. His first wife, Mimi Rogers, didn't just play a romantic role in his life. She introduced him to the controversial world of Scientology, a move that would redefine his identity, decisions, and relationships going forward. Their union ended quietly, but its impact echoed for decades. Now, as Tom Cruise stands at a crossroads, he reflects not just on a legendary career but on the emotional cost of a life lived in the spotlight. This is the story behind the stunts, behind the fame, behind the star. This is Tom Cruise in Masked. Then came Nicole Kidman, ethereal, gifted and beloved by fans who believed they were witnessing Hollywood's perfect love story. Together, they looked like royalty, 2 luminous stars lighting up red carpets, adopting children, and speaking dreamily about growing old side by side. But behind the scenes, the fairy tale was quietly unraveling. Nicole later hinted at a growing loneliness, saying she often felt like she was competing not with another woman but with something far more immovable else. Tom's deepening devotion to Scientology, as the demands of his faith intensified, their emotional intimacy began to erode. Their connection weakened under pressure, both personal and ideological, and eventually, Their celebrated union crumbled. The dream ended, and once again, Tom was left behind. More famous than ever, but somehow more alone. Just when it seemed he might never love so openly again, along came Katie Holmes Young, hopeful and wide-eyed. Their romance caught fire in the public eye with almost surreal intensity. Who could forget Tom jumping on Oprah's couch, declaring his love in a moment that became instant pop culture history? Something happened to you. I'm in love. I'm in love. To the world, it was a storybook romance. A movie star madly in love. Their extravagant Italian wedding, complete with fireworks, Armani gowns, and an A-list guest list, only cemented the fantasy, but behind the spectacle, something darker was unfolding. As the honeymoon glow faded, whispers began. Observers noticed Katie's once radiant smile growing reserved, her public appearances tightly managed, and the increasing presence of Scientology figures hovering just out of frame. Then, without warning, everything collapsed. Katie filed for divorce in a stunning move so swift and calculated, it caught even Hollywood insiders off guard. She took their daughter Suri and vanished into New York, leaving Tom reeling. Once again, he was alone. But this time wasn't just the end of a marriage. It was the beginning of a far more painful loss. Because with the collapse of his third marriage came something deeper and more enduring. The slow, quiet erosion of his daily connection with his only biological child. As the years passed, Suri grew up largely without her father's presence. No school pickups, no birthday traditions, no everyday calls. Just silence and distance. Speculation pointed once again to his unwavering loyalty to Scientology as a factor in the growing chasm between them. Today, the public no longer sees Tom Cruise's romantic history as a parade of glamorous love stories. Instead, it reads like a series of emotional battleground siege, one stripping away another layer of illusion and revealing a man changed by love, heartbreak, and consequence. From the joy of new beginnings to the ache of painful goodbyes, each relationship shaped him far more than any film ever could. But of all the losses he's endured, none cut deeper than losing the everyday moments with Suri. Behind the mask, the hidden struggles that shape Tom Cruise's deepest regrets. Behind every heartbreak lies a history. Behind every broken bond, a hidden battle. And behind Tom Cruise's carefully crafted image lives a past filled with shadows, silence, and struggles that shape them and the regrets he carries to this day. But Cruise isn't the only one whose life was shaped by the grip of Scientology. Jenna's Storia, former child member of the Church of Four's chilling insight into the world Cruise has long been tied to. Her words cut through the facade. Growing up inside the Church of Scientology left a deep and painful mark. She shared, "It wasn't just confusing, it was frightening. We faced mental strain, physical exhaustion, and emotional manipulation. I barely saw my parents, sometimes only once a week. Our education came from unqualified people. We worked long hours, forced labor, confessions under pressure, and sometimes we were locked in rooms as punishment. But what haunted Jenna most wasn't the physical hardship. It was the mental torture," she said, trying to make sense of teachings that contradicted each other, forced on us before we were old enough to understand. A mother herself, Jenna feels a powerful connection to Katie Holmes, another woman who dared to walk away. "I want Katie to know she's not alone. I hope she finds the strength to protect herself and her daughter. That's what matters most now." And Katie Holmes did walk away. In 2012, she filed for divorce from Tom Cruise in New York, strategically seeking sole legal and physical custody of their daughter, Suri. The move sent shockwaves through Hollywood and through the Church of Scientology. Two former Scientologists. Her decision wasn't just brave, it was revolutionary. A clear refusal to be intimidated by Cruise's powerful position within one of the world's most secretive and aggressive organizations. Scientology's reputation for control, surveillance, and legal warfare is well documented. But Holmes made it clear she wouldn't back down. She assembled a legal dream team, including Alan Mifke, a heavyweight matrimonial lawyer known for managing high-profile stakes divorces, and Jonathan Wolfe, a razor-sharp courtroom strategist. Their message was clear. Katie Holmes is ready for war. For many, her divorce isn't just tabloid fodder. It's a glimpse behind the curtain into a world where love, freedom, and family collide with the cold machinery of control. Holmes's quiet strength has inspired others who've suffered in silence, showing that even in the face of powerful forces, one mother's fight for her child can spark real change. But if Katie's courage casts a spotlight, it also casts a shadow. Tom Cruise himself. How did he fall so deeply into Scientology's grip? Was he born into it, or did something far more painful lead him there? From fear to fame, the shocking childhood of Tom Cruise. Before the world knew him as the action hero with the $1 million smile, he was just a scared boy named Thomas Cruise, a Puther IV. His childhood was anything but charmed. His home was not a sanctuary, it was a battleground he grew up under the rule of a violent, abusive father, a man Cruise has described as a bully and a coward. The pain wasn't just physical, it was emotional, deeply scarring and relentless. His family moved frequently, chasing opportunities that never came, struggled with dyslexia, was often misunderstood, and lived in a constant state of instability. He beat us, he hit us, Cruise once said of his father. It was a great lesson in my life, how he'd lull you in, make you feel safe, and then, bang. For me it was like, there's something wrong with this guy, don't trust him. This betrayal from the first man he was supposed to trust left deep psychological wounds, wounds that never fully healed. As a teenager, he discovered acting. The stage became his escape, place where he wasn't the scared boy from a broken home, but someone else. Someone strong. Someone admired. It was during these formative years, searching for control, stability, and meaning that Scientology entered his life, and it offered exactly what he craved: structure, certainty, and a sense of power. But that structure came at a cost. From the pain of an abusive childhood to the chains of an all-consuming belief system. Tom Cruise's story is not just one of fame but of survival. Behind the high-flying stunts and megawatt charm lies a man still trying to outrun the ghosts of his past. A man who found fame but lost closeness, who built a legacy but left emotional wreckage behind, who lived for the spotlight but often suffered in the shadows. And now, the question lingers. Is it too late for Tom Cruise to reclaim what truly matters? Or will the forces that shaped him always keep him from finding his way home? From survival to stardom, the fire that forged Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise didn't come from a world of red carpets and flashing lights, came from chaos. His father was harsh and unpredictable, a man whose anger made every day feel like a battlefield. Instead of love and comfort, young Tom was met with fear and emotional storms that left invisible scars. Everything changed the day his mother made a courageous choice to leave. She gathered Tom and his siblings and fled the turmoil that had become their lives. For Tom, it was a moment of liberation and heartbreak. He was finally safe, but the absence of a stable, loving father left a void that would follow him for decades. Without a protector, Tom felt vulnerable, an exposed boy longing for strength in a world that offered none. But out of that pain, something powerful ignited inside him, a fierce determination to rise above it all. He didn't just want to succeed. He wanted to become untouchably admired, respected, impossible to hurt. Acting wasn't just a career. It was a lifeline. Each role became a form of escape. The stage and screen gave him permission to be someone else, someone bold, strong, and in control. Every performance was another layer of armor, shielding him from the insecurities and traumas of his past. Behind the dazzling smile and high-octane stunts was still that scared boy, searching for safety through spotlight. His work ethic became legendary. Tom wasn't just acting, he was proving something, not just to audiences but to himself. That he was more than the pain he came from. He could rewrite his story. "I didn't want to be a victim," he once said. "I wanted to be the hero." He did just that. With each blockbuster, each near-impossible stunt, he climbed higher. But his success was more than box office numbers. It was a triumph over the darkness that once consumed his world. Still, one haunting question remains. Did becoming Tom Cruise finally silence the frightened boy inside Thomas Cruise Mapother? Or is that still the role he's playing, his most convincing performance yet? The hidden isolation of Hollywood's brightest star from the moment risky business hit theaters to the sky-high success of Top Gun, Tom Cruise rocketed onto the world stage with explosive charisma and undeniable star power. 8. His fearless energy, iconic grin, and relentless work ethic made him one of the most bankable actors in Hollywood history. But behind the blockbuster hits and media frenzy was a man living a very different reality, one marked not by fame, but by isolation, while millions cheered his every move. Tom was quietly fighting battles of his own. One of his earliest struggles was dyslexia, learning disorder that turned school into a daily war. Reading and comprehension were painfully difficult. He often felt frustrated, misunderstood, and defeated. Teachers mistook his struggle for laziness. Classmates didn't understand. And inside, the self-doubt grew. These early challenges left a mark. Even as his fame soared, a voice inside still whispered that he wasn't good enough. That he had something to prove, not just to the world, but to himself. This deep-rooted hunger for validation became his driving force. On set, he was relentless. Directors were amazed by his intensity. He'd rehearse scenes dozens of times, pushing for perfection, refusing to settle for anything less. Every role wasn't just a character, it was another chance to prove his worth. What the world saw was a brilliant performer. What they didn't see was the lonely pursuit of perfection driven by a boy who never felt truly safe. Tom Cruise became a symbol of strength and invincibility. But underneath the legend was a man shaped by fear, rejection, and a desperate desire to never feel powerless again. His rise to fame wasn't just a Hollywood success story, it was a survival story. And maybe, just maybe, his greatest achievement wasn't in what he became, but in what he escaped. The weight behind the wings. Tom Cruise's quiet struggle for connection, whether dangling from helicopters or piloting fighter jets through the sky, Tom Cruise redefined what it meant to be an action hero. His daredevil spirit, unshakable discipline, and willingness to push the limits transformed him into a living legend of cinema. But behind the bravado was a man who often felt profoundly alone, even when surrounded by roaring fans and flashing cameras. Fame gave Tom everything the outside world dreams of: wealth, adoration, global acclaim. But it could never fill the silence he sometimes felt in his own heart. Behind the applause was an ache. The crowd cheered, the cameras rolled, but at times, it all felt distant, like watching life through a glass wall, separated from real connection. In his quietest moments, Tom asked himself the questions so many people never imagined a superstar would ask. Why do I still feel empty? What am I still chasing? Because even after conquering the box office, the world, and seemingly gravity itself, there's still something missing. His story is a powerful reminder that even the brightest stars cast shadows. Behind the thrilling stunts and picture-perfect smiles is a man still wrestling with wounds that success couldn't heal. Tom Cruise didn't just become a legend by playing heroes. He became one through his relentless fight to rise above the emotional chaos of his past. In a world obsessed with surface, this journey exposes something rare: the human beneath the icon. Man fueled not just by talent and ambition, but by a silent need to be seen, understood, and most of all, loved. His rise to superstardom is a story of resilience, brilliance, and courage, but also of isolation, longing, and the quiet battles few could ever see. And as the lights shine brightest, we're reminded, even legends crave something real, beyond the stunts, beyond the fame. Can Hollywood's greatest action hero ever escape the quiet ache of wanting to be truly known? What legacy will he leave behind? And how did the pain of his past become the very power that propelled him forward? Turning pain into power, from heartbreak to heroics, heartbreak could be harnessed. Tom Cruise turned every wound into rocket fuel. He wasn't just playing action roles, he was living them, with every impossible stunt, every breathtaking scene. He was chasing more than cinematic spectacle. He was chasing something eternal, a shot at immortality through film. In the Mission Impossible franchise, Tom didn't just star, he became the engine, beating heart of the series. He wasn't just a performer, he was a visionary, orchestrating every jaw-dropping moment with precision and passion. By founding his own production company, he took command of his destiny. It's no longer just the face on the poster. He became the architect of the very stories that would define his legacy. Every film wasn't just a role, it was a personal test. A mission not dictated by studios but by something much deeper, a need to prove his worth, his drive, and his ability to break through every limitation life had once forced on him. He scaled skyscrapers, clung to planes, and jumped from cliffs not just for spectacle, but to show the world and himself that he was unbreakable. Each stunt was a statement. I am not afraid. I will not be controlled. I am more than what hurt me. Tom Cruise didn't just become an action star, he became the symbol of defying odds. But as we celebrate his epic career, one truth still lingers in the silence between the scenes. Has the man who flew higher than anyone else finally found peace on the ground? Or is he still searching for connection, for meaning, for something real? Driven by fire, the relentless legacy of Tom Cruise's critics debated his beliefs, and gossip columns buzzed with controversy surrounding his ties to Scientology. Tom Cruise remained unshaken. The noise never distracted him. It only sharpened his focus. For Tom, it was never about headlines, approval, or defending his choices. It was always about one thing: building a legacy no one could ignore. People could question his faith. They could dissect his private life. But what they couldn't do was deny the power of his presence on screen, the electrifying energy, the raw intensity, the bone-breaking stunts that left audiences breathless. Behind the scenes, Cruise was relentless. Every stunt was a mission. Every scene, a personal challenge. He didn't just perform, he trained, studied, practiced, and pushed until he reached the edge of what was physically possible. While others passed off danger to stunt doubles, Tom took the fall himself. Literally, injuries, fatigue, broken bones, none of it stopped him. Because the story had to feel real. The audience had to believe it. And more than anything, he had to prove something not just to the world, but to himself. That fierce commitment became his signature. Not fame, not fortune, authenticity. But that level of dedication wasn't born from ego, it came from something deeper, from pain, from trauma, from a childhood shaped by instability and fear, from love lost, from a daughter grown distant, a lifetime spent battling silence with spectacle where others might have been broken. Tom Cruise turned his pain into momentum. Every scar became fuel, every heartbreak a reason to climb higher. His career wasn't just a collection of films, it became a testament to survival, transformation, unmatched resilience. At 62, Tom Cruise stands as more than just a movie star. He's a symbol of fearless ambition, of pushing through fire to forge something unshakable, because sometimes the pain doesn't hold you back. It becomes the very thing that launches you forward. And now, as the man who's seemingly done it all, flown jets, scaled towers, defied age, continues to defy expectations, one question remains. What's next? What keeps him running toward the edge, even when he has nothing left to prove? And what do you think about what Tom finally revealed at 6'2"? The truth we all suspected, but never fully understood until now. Let us know in the comments below, and if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, subscribe for more untold journeys behind the spotlight. Because sometimes, the real story isn't the one we see on screen, it's the one lived between the takes.